Everyone. I'm sure you all are ready for your June 2024 exams. But now let's have some tips for your Section A, B, and C questions. Section A covers the entire syllabus, and I know that you all are aware of the same. So there are no pick and choose topics that you are going to have. But then the question comes, how much time you should spend on a question? If you're stuck, then make sure you're not spending more than 3 to 4 minutes on a question. If you get stuck, flag it off and move on to the next question. It'll basically do two things. Number one, save your time. Number two, when you are able to solve the next question, it gives you confidence. So move on to the next question, flag it, come back to it after you're done with your questions of section A. Second, section B questions. Section B also can cover the entire syllabus. It can covers 3 scenarios of 5 questions each and can come from all the lengths and breadths of the syllabus. But then how you should handle and generally what is the structure of section B questions? Out of the 5 questions for each scenario, generally it's a mix of calculations and narratives. 2 to 3 calculations or likewise 2 to 3 narratives, making a total of 5 for each scenario. Narratives are something that you can do more quickly than the calculations, so you can save your time over there. Applicable to section A questions as well. Save your time from the narrative so you can use it for your calculation questions. There is nothing called important, so make sure that section B questions are thoroughly practiced. Because let me tell you guys, section B is very, very crucial for the success in the exams. So make sure you're doing a lot of practice of those questions in case if you haven't done so far. Section C questions. Now, if I talk about a paper like PM, wherein section C generally covers topics like variances, budgeting, your performance evaluations, financial, non-financial performance measures, but it can include other topics also. But majorly it covers these topics. So when it comes to section C questions, except for taxes, generally the paper structure is where you have 2 20 marks questions. So then how do you handle it? Break the question in parts, read the question as in read the introduction of the question and then the requirement of the question. And then once you know the requirements, then you go into the details of the questions, read it step by step and solve the question step by step. This again gives you confidence because there are less chances of doing errors, more chances of memorizing the concepts, and of course, it saves your time also as you don't have to read the question twice. Okay, you should practice more and more on the CB platforms, your section C questions, because definitely the Excel over there is not what you generally work on in your regular, Excel softwares. Likewise, you will have to use word processor also over there. There are a lot of features which are disabled over there. So make sure you are accustomed to that software perfectly. When it comes to taxes, you have 2 questions of 15 marks and 1 question of 10 marks. We all generally know that 1 question of 15 marks would be from the individual taxation. Next question of 15 marks would be from corporate taxation, and 1 10 marks question can be from anywhere, can be from VAT, could be from IHT and the other areas as well. So when you're handling taxation question, generally it is a lot of calculations and less of theory, which is generally related to the due dates or, the penalty calculations, penalty explanations, and so on. So make sure, guys, you're revising your due dates, penalties on a daily basis so that you have a strong hold on it. While doing calculations, make clear working notes, link them well to the main calculation of taxable income or taxes as is the requirement of the question. Read the question very carefully so that you can apply the correct rules of taxes over there. When it comes to the papers like PM, FR, where you have a mix of theory questions, and a practical both in your section C. With PM, generally it is 60% calculation, 40% theory, or can be other way also. So can be as much as 50-50 also. But when it is theory questions in PM, guys, don't be frightened by it, because theory doesn't mean that typical theory. It is just writing in your own words the understanding of the topic that you already know. No need to write fancy answers, but write a more structured answer. When you're writing theory answers, make sure you're writing in the form of paragraphs, with sentences generally not going beyond 3 to 4 sentences in a paragraph. Give headings, subheadings very clearly. Lastly, make sure that you have an eye also on the clock timer that would be running backwards on the screen. Target, please keep a target of completing section A and B in around 1 hour, 45 minutes roughly, so that you have 1 hour, 15 minutes at least for section C. But even if you're running out of time, don't write your answers like rough work, make them legitimate. Okay, prepare working notes, because and be confident for whatever you have done. Section A is an area where you can definitely save a lot of time on the narratives questions. So make sure you're doing that. Calculations are also not very tricky. It's a 2 marks question after all for each. So maximum 3 to 4 minutes is something that examiner has also said the questions that can be answered within that time. Okay, so read the question thoroughly, because as I always say, half of your answer is already there in the question itself. So you read it, half you have already covered. In narrative questions, this is a small tip that I would give. There are 4 options, for example. 2 options are always generally something which is definitely wrong. Make sure that out of 4, you're removing the 2 options. So then you're just left with 2. It makes your life easier. Okay? And be confident. Do not have any kind of doubts, confusions in your head when you're giving exam. Don't test yourself on the exam day by, thinking of several provisions and testing yourself before the exam, whether you remember them or not. You certainly remember them. On the exam day, guys, please make sure you're revising your syllabus once through your notes or through the workbook only, not through the pocket notes. This would help you gain confidence and make that just 2-hour revision, a quick revision before the exams. Okay, and have a peaceful sleep, relaxful sleep, give your best, and I'm sure you all are going to have a wonderful, wonderful results. All the best, do well. Thank you.